manly stuff. Never mind, never mind. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. All right. So second rate bruiser. Uh, overall,
It
I'm
fits
kind of.
with mid-range decks, but it's like only good in certain meta game where it's like I don't know. It's like very very specific. It's
I
like
feel like
good but not broken. It's like
a lot of
alright.
priests could actually make use of this as well, but that's it. They might not because Dragon Priest is already so broken, or it will be so broken. If
Yeah,
Priest
I guess
didn't,
Priest could see it. I
yeah,
could see
if
it.
Priest didn't get a lot of whole buffs, like second rate bruiser is great. Like if Priest becomes meta as well, like second rate bruiser 4/5, Priest mirror also
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Priest looks like it's gonna be the strongest class, right? Post expansion.
sorry, Satan, I
Currently.
had to report you for that one. Oh
Sorry.
god. Okay, so overall, I think we say this card is good,
Yeah,
but
it's really good. But it's also like can be bad as well. It can go either way. Like it's not like the card's automatically good. Like some cards like okay, this card's always gonna see play.
okay, but this isn't a card that you play around as an aggro deck. Like I don't want to play my third minion because they'll play second rate bruiser.
No,
People
obviously.
will never play
It's like
around it.
4 or 5. If it's 4 or 5, you have 3 minions, but usually you can like clear pretty easily. Like your deck has to be pretty bad to not be able to clear 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Findra the Flying Star stealth. Whenever this attacks and kills a minion, summon two Murlocs from your deck. Garbage.
Garbage.
Just garbage. It's a 2/5, right?
Actual trash.
And
Actual trash.
you're investing 5 mana, and this has to kill a minion with its 2
Yeah,
attack,
actual
right?
trash. It's usually trash.
If it gets buffed by War Leader into a 4/6, right? Then
Okay.
maybe.
Only way,
But
literally the only way this card is going to be good is that they print a Murloc that gives other Murloc charge, and they print more charge Murloc as well, which is like not possible.
yeah, I mean, we might have to see more cards. If they have more Murloc synergy, very powerful Murloc cards you can put into your deck. Like, okay, if this attacks and kills a minion, say you have a War Leader in your hand, right? And then it has to summon War Leader and Bluegill, or two Bluegills from the deck.
Yeah.
Then,
It's way too slow, and the War Leader always just like gets killed anyways.
I guess the question is, does this add any consistency to Murloc Paladin?
It doesn't make the combo worse if you're trying to kill control decks. You can just have a dead card. You can't just have a dead card in hand. It's not like a dead card in hand. It's like too slow against aggro and it's totally dead against control decks.
Right, because it's a Murloc itself, so you run the risk of
Yeah.
summoning it, but
Exactly.
it does make it faster. You can always play this in a quality trade and then get the Murlocs out.
So it's good against only mid-range decks. They're not too fast.
Yeah,
against
it
some
speeds up the combo against mid-range, but maybe like Control Warrior is getting to the point where Murloc Paladin doesn't really counter it that hard anyway. So if you're going for a Murloc Paladin without more greedy cards, like Finja might be attack, but
The thing
overall I
is,
think it's
against
fine.
mid-range decks, like when you get to 10 mana Elephant, like you cannot even play Elephant a lot of the time because your first Elephant is usually not lethal, and then if you play it, you just die on board, right? So I don't know. It's just like you have to be playing this card, get the Molochs out, and then you have to survive turn 7 to 8 or 9 until turn 10. That you have to be somewhat stabilizing the board, not losing by so far. You can actually jam the Elephant into clearing some of the board into second Elephant lethal. I don't know. It's like pretty bad. Game plan is like too linear.
Yeah, all the good situations are very situational, and it seems a little too gimmicky, but it's an interesting Murloc to print.
Yeah, like it's
Good out of
legendary. Has to be.
good out of Murloc Knight, I guess. So yeah, that's another upside, kind of.
Looks cool, but whatever.
Patches the pirate, kind of gimmicky. People are pretty excited about this card. A lot of people like this card, right?
I like this card. I actually like this card.
Do you think it's playable? After you play pirate, summon this minion from your deck.
I mean, in any pirate deck, you always play this, right? Because it's free card in your deck. It's only bad in your hand, right? And even if in your hand zone it's that terrible.
Right.
And you have to remember that pirate decks are aggro decks, right? So, like pirate warriors, like they rely a lot on like having a minion, like pirate on board, for the pirate synergy stuff, like that. So I think it's actually really good. Just getting free 1 damage on turn 1. So if it sticks around for like 3 turns, you're getting like a free, lightning bolt out of the deal.
Right. It's just free. It's just free. Thin's deck is
Yeah,
free.
it's free.
Played in every pirate
Free
deck.
card's broken.
Does it buff the overall power level of the pirate deck? Not necessarily by
Also,
enough, right?
the nice thing to keep in mind is that this is a 1 mana card for Rogue or Cold Blood synergy as well, and it's you don't even have a dagger out, right? So it's like
Yeah.
something to keep in mind. Better, it's a better stone fastball.
It
Fucking power break capital.
it's not enough on its own to bring other pirate archetypes back. Like pirate warrior is decent, but that's because it already has so many weapons and so many ways to push face damage with heroic strike and things like that. If other classes were to adopt Patches the Pirate, they'd also have to find a few other like burn spells or other aggressive tools in this expansion to make it work. So
Yeah, it's
we're gonna
free,
look for
it's a
those
free
synergies
1/1
later.
shot. It's just good, I think. I think it's good. Like it's a free card. Free card's always good.
Yeah. I mean, people are saying it works well with Nazos Mate, but again, that's Pirate Warrior. Obviously, that buffs that a lot because you can deal with 3/2s on the board directly. But for the other classes, it remains to be seen. We'll review this again towards the end of the expansion to see if other pirate archetypes are viable.
Yeah, it's only viable Pirate Warrior right now. And it's like something to keep in mind. It's a 1 mana charge, you know. You might actually play it 1 mana charge.
Yeah.
It's like combo with some cards.
So Fel Orc Soulfiend at the start of your turn, deal 2 damage to this minion. Okay. So it comes out as a 3/7, but when it finally gets to attack, it's a 3/5, and then it deals 2, so it'll be a 3/3 towards the end. It's kind of like 3 mana 3/3. If the opponent is smart and ignores it, like where does it find a good scenario? It trades as a 3/5, right? And then
If it's a 4/7, you can see it, but that's a 3/7 doesn't trade with much, right? And
okay, so this scenario, you play it on turn 3, you trade into their 3/3 or something, and then they can't. No, it has to be less than 3 attack. It has to be less than 3 attack, right?
It works with priest somewhat if you can like heal it. And you can't even use hero power on it because you lose the tempo.
Well,
you actually have to use something like a flash shield or something. I don't know. The card seems like pretty bad to be honest. If it's 4/7, I can see it. Like the 3 power is like pretty low to trade with stuff.
the other like key synergy is silence. Like if they're really trying to make Purify Priest work, then this card is like,
yeah. Silence. Yeah, silence is pretty powerful.
silencing this is okay, but they're not printing a lot of silence effects. Like Blizzard took a big stance on silence already. Like they don't want that to be so broken. Like
I mean,
the nerf
when you're
of
playing silence
Keeper, right?
deck, your deck is pretty bad, right? You have to play all these situations with silence.
Right. So Fel Orc Soulfiend by itself, it has to trade into a 2 attack minion, so it can remain a 3/1 on the following turn and then take another value trade. So overall, its trade potential, like on curve, isn't that great, but the synergy as a 3/7 body, it does something like maybe Priest can utilize it, but we're expecting Dragon Priest to be broken, so don't expect this card to see play. Alright.
Dragon Priest broken? I thought Control Priest is going to be broken.
Have you seen the new Dragon cards for Priest?
Alright, we'll talk about it later.
Alright. You'll see. There's some really nice ones. Alright, Kooky Chemist. Just play the 2 mana.
Just play Crazed Alchemist.
Just play the Crazed Alchemist. You don't need this card. Kooky Chemist not good enough.
Redundant cards.
But yeah, that's just a filler. Friendly Bartender. At the end of your turn, restore 1 health to your hero.
Seems bad, to be honest.
This is control decks don't need a 2 mana 2/3 that potentially restores some health to it. And aggro decks don't need to restore health, so this card just
how good
is
is
bad.
2 mana 2/3? How good is 2 mana 2/3 taunt? Gain 1 life. It's not taunt, right? That's the problem.
It's like if your opponent is an aggro deck and they can push 3 damage to the face instead of trading this, knowing that you'll trade, they'll just push 3. It doesn't have taunt.
Exactly.
Like if they can do simple math on that and expect this to make the trade, then they're not going to trade. So
Exactly.
yeah.
But
It doesn't exactly.
If it was like 2 mana 2/3 gain 2 life at the end of the turn, every turn, it'll be actually be a threat. You
Gain
have to
2
trade it.
life. Yeah, if it gains 2 life, maybe.
Yeah,
But-
gain 2 life when you calm down, and then you have to trade over it, otherwise you gain 2 life. That would be pretty good.
Even if it gains 2 life, would you play it in a control deck? Does a control deck need a 2
Not
mana
a control
2/3?
deck. Not a control deck. Like a mid-rangey deck kind of maybe.
A mid-range deck that needs healing?
Yeah.
Maybe the effect is powerful enough then. Okay.
Maybe even priest actually. Like playing something like this in priest because you don't have a 2-drop. Like, if you gain 2 life, but it's 1 life.
Just 1 life, never good enough. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So the wind-up Burglebot, when this attacks a minion and survives, draw a card.
Alright, move on. Charge.
Alright.
Charge seems to be actually fucking turn 7 go like charge wind up blood for. It's pretty bad.
if you get this from Moonglade Portal, it's okay because it has some upside and it's just like a threat that they
I
have to
mean,
deal with.
if you
But
get on Moonday Pro, it's obviously insane because like you're already getting on like above curve minion. You're not getting something bad, and that's
yeah,
synergy.
okay. So this card's kind of interesting. Mistress of Mixtures, 1 mana 2/2, restore 4 health to both players.
Bad. Pretty bad, I think. If it's 2/3, it's really good. 2/2 is like whatever.
Oh, if it was a zombie chow?
I mean, not zombie. Yeah, obviously, zombie shell stat line's insane, but it's like the death rate of healing invoking 2/4 players would be like way better than zombie
The
shell.
2/2 doesn't bully things enough for the most part.
Yeah.
And control decks like Warrior had Blood to Ichor, which is definitely better than Mistress of Mixtures, just because you can use it late game as well. The restore 4 health to both players doesn't really help Priest that much because, well, with your
Yeah,
Arcanine
play this
combos
card
it also
in Rogue,
kills
right?
you. With
You can actually
Rogue?
play this guy in Rogue. Like that's like a 1 or 2 off. It's like a 4 health. It's somewhat relevant. No, that's bad. Just, yeah, in Rogue, you actually want to kill people, so the 4 health thing killing them is pretty valuable.
It's only good on turn 1 still. Like, it's only good on turn 1, and later on, Rogue doesn't want to backstab this thing to gain 4 health. That's the...
Yeah. It's like good situation.
Yeah, it's never... I just don't think it's good enough in any class as it is now. Let's move on.
Yeah, like
It's like
everyone was
option
praised
three.
about Raven, right? Last set. Everyone was so, oh my god, 1 mana 2/2 looks crazy. But I think we both said like 1 mana 2/2 is like pretty bad.
hmm
That's me.
I mean, the stat line's okay, but is it good enough to play in Rogue? I don't think so. Auctioneer
Yeah.
Beardo. After you cast a spell, refresh your hero power. So this card's kind of interesting. Sadly, it doesn't work too well with Rogue.
No, it doesn't. It's like Warrior, I guess. They want to play like in combo Warrior, but you don't really want to use the hero power. Like hero power being 2 mana is way too expensive to use this card. So I don't know. The card is pretty bad because you have to be using your hero power. Use this card. You play this card, right? You have to use your hero power already, and then use the spell, and then use your hero power. That's like 7 mana on just 2 hero power plus this card. Plus your spell has to be like 1 mana, and then the 2 hero power is probably like very inconsequential to the game anyway. So I don't know. The card seems pretty valuable. Unless you can combo with like a, fucking major domo or something.
Right,
Like
so
that.
just to clarify for everyone in chat and everything, it says after you cast a spell, refresh your hero power. So it means if you've used your hero power, you have the option to use it again at the cost of 2 mana, right? Like for anyone who thinks like it's just going to be refreshed and you can use it for free continuously, it's not like that. You have to
Yeah,
pay 2
it's
mana every time.
If you can combo with like a really broken hero power, like let's say Shadow Priest,
Mhm.
the second version that deal 3 damage, or like Jaraxxus or something, it'd be like quite decent. Maybe you play it in Renal Lock, but that just for like, because if you can go 6/6, play this, play like a spell, kill the minion, play another 6/6, that's pretty strong, right? Maybe you play it in Renal Lock. Otherwise, I don't see it getting played that much.
Like Major Domo, Jaraxxus.
The Major Dome is bad, just Jaraxxus,
Yeah,
Jaraxxus.
just Jaraxxus. Well, I'm just naming some options, right?
It's probably
hero
good
power.
in Renal Lock because Renal Lock doesn't have like good 3 plays, and you just have like hard slot issues, and you can just play like a 3 mana 3/4, and if it dies, they trade. It's like it's fine for you. Probably something in the Renal Lock.
Yeah. Okay, well, they're just introducing the concept. I don't quite see it yet. Alright, so Gugfu, just skip.
Yeah, let's skip it.
Alright, so Druid,
Oh, the little friend. That's the
yeah, this
big-time
is the
recognition.
6/6, yeah. Khan the Forgotten King. Choose one, gain 10 armor, or refresh your mana crystals. It's a free 7/7. Like, if you think 4 mana 7/7s are broken, what about Khan?
0 mana 7.
0 mana 7/7.
The problem is that this card, when you get to 10 mana, you either have no cards in hand, and then you just like a 7 summer gain 10 life against control deck, which is like whatever, alright, not amazing. Or like I don't know, it's just like very, 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 very like small amount of games where this is actually going to be relevant as a 0 mana 7/7, and let you cast more spells, or like a 7/7 that gains you 10 life. So I don't know, it's like really hard to evaluate because how often can you get to 10 mana while still being, have so much gas in hand to like keep going against aggressive decks, and have you not stabilized yet when you get to 10 mana? that you really need like with 7/7 getting 10 life. You know,
I mean,
seems
so the thing about this card is, if you look at the way Druid is right now, they already have 0 mana 8/8s, right? Do they need a 0 mana 7/7? No, but when Druid ramps so hard that it can get to 10 mana and still draw with Nourish, a 0 mana 7/7, just an additional Arcane Giant, that's it's not quite an additional Arcane Giant because sometimes you get
it's
Arcane
not
Giants
a
before
digital
10 mana,
Arcane
but
Giant because it's better than Arcane Giant in some games because you actually want to get to 10 life, but the problem with the card is that it's very inflexible, right? You actually need 10 mana to work. Well, Arcane Giant, you can just like
but it
play remove spell,
fits
play remove.
it fits the plan, right? Like sometimes you need to stabilize against aggro, so you draw towards Pharaoh Rage, and sometimes you just need more pressure on board. So 0 mana 7/7 is good as well. Are you playing for it at 10 mana? Yes, but it has the flexibility of both game plans that the Druid wants right now as well. So I like the two options. Like the two options are
I do
great
like
on the
the
card.
option for sure because against aggressive and against mid range and like control that you can just play as a 0 mana 7/7 that like lets you do things for the turn, which is like pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
But against aggro, that's a problem with the card. It's like you always need to 10 mana first, and then some games you just don't get there. You know, if you hit your Valgrove Nourish, you're probably winning that game anyway. To be honest.
Okay, so as far as 10 mana cards go, I think this is very, very flexible for a 10 mana card. Like a
Yeah.
lot of 10 mana cards you can't play because it can't fit with your game plan. You've been pressured too much, or you need to swing back the turn by playing some spells instead. Like you don't have the time to play your huge 10 mana drop because you got to remove something or you got to gain some life. This guy either gives you mana to play spells to remove or it gives you armor to gain life and sustain. Like if you're going to play a 10 mana drop in Druid outside of Yogg or outside of the Malygos combo, if you can fit Kun in, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
This card is pretty strong.
The card is like definitely way better than like all the class legendary we see. Okay, like Ronin, whatever, it's like unplayable. But this card does actually have potential. The problem is that the 10 mana, right? Like sometimes you don't even get the 10 mana because you have to draw. Like against like
Right,
when you're
but-
playing Druid against Shaman now,
Mhm.
like unless your hand is absolutely broken, a lot of the time you can't even nourish for mana. You actually have to nourish for cards because the problem is that the Shaman beats you by having a board, you clear, and then they instantly refill, right? So if you use your like remove spell, you clear the board the first time, you probably low on cards, and then they just instantly refill, and you just lost the game from there. Because of that, right now I'm even playing Auctioneer in my shop in my Druid just to play against like that kind of style. You know what I mean? Like you
Right,
actually
like,
don't have enough.
You're saying you just don't have the ability to keep up, and
Yeah,
Kun doesn't really
You-
do
you
that.
need-
But
you don't have enough cards to keep up. So like, the problem with this card is like it doesn't like you need to be like ahead enough on resources or like keep up on resources to be able to use this card efficiently. Because if you're playing this card at 10 mana, you're probably low on cards, and then even if you get 7/7 from 0 mana, you're playing like like a Wrath and a Moonfire for the rest of the time, which is like weak.
I think maybe you're underevaluating the power of just choose one, right? Free 7/7's always decent, gain 10 armor. Like, it just fits the game plan so well. I think outside of like, if I had to play a 10 drop in Druid, I'd play this. Maybe
Yeah,
Deathwing
like,
in some other
by
situations.
far the best 10 drop in the game in the moment. Probably close. Like maybe outside of Deathwing in some of the game.
Yeah, like by far one of the best 10 drops. Okay. So
The
it's...
card's definitely going to see play, but we don't know how good exactly it is because the metagame could be like totally different.
Right. It'll fit in Rapture, like, regardless anyway, right? Because...
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll see play. Good card.
Oh yeah, and the combo with this is like Naga Sea Witch or something. With
Naga Sea Witch.
Card. It's like a meme card, right?
Naga Sea Witch. So you play Naga for 5, you do this, you
you
refresh
just
your
play this
mana
card in the deck.
crystals.
That's all. You just play this card in the deck. If it's good, it's good. Otherwise, it's bad. This card seems like it's going to be good, but I'm unsure. It looks pretty good to me.
How much mana will you get back after you innervate it? That's interesting. It refreshes your mana crystals, right?
You just get back the same mana crystal. You lost your innovate. So you, on 8 mana, you innovate it out. You
You
get 8
get
mana
8
back.
back. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's move on.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Pilfer power, gain an empty mana crystal for each friendly minion.
Seems bad. Seems kind of bad because, like, if you're ahead enough with a token deck, don't you just Savage Roar and kill them anyway? Why would you play this over Savage Roar? If that makes sense. Right?
Well, it's ramp. It's like if you have
Like
if you
how
have
well do
your
you use Flash and RAM though? Here's the
yeah,
thing.
token decks
Play
don't
Wild
need the ramp at all, right?
Yeah, you already if you're ahead enough on board, don't you want to kill them as token druid? If you peel for powers, like how much more you're doing? You know, maybe you're playing Naruto, maybe you're playing features, and you're playing like maybe you can play power like the Wisp or the Ogre and stuff. But
Let's not talk
this
about
thing
this
is
card.
kinda
This card is like very situational, and if you get it off of Raven Idol, only sometimes will you pick it. So, not
yeah,
worth talking about.
I don't think it's that good. If you're ahead enough, you just like Power the Wild or like Mark of the Lotus or even Savage Roll.
Ooh, Justsaiyans
So
is if you play the Pilfered Power and you have 10 mana, you don't even get an excess mana. Yeah, that kinda
obviously, that's so
This
broken.
thing-
What you get like 7 extra mana or whatever.
They're saying it should have been for each enemy minion. If Pilfered Power was for enemy minion, this would be insane, right? Like you just punish aggro decks and you ramp so hard.
Oh no, that card is way too broken. You can't do it.
Pilfered
Play
Power.
it in like Druid deck.
It would even match the name, right? Pilfered Power. You pilfered it from your opponent's minions.
No, that's broken.
And then-
like Zoo just never win against Druid. Turn 3 they keep the Pilfered Power.
Pilfered
Turn 5
Power.
they play, they have 10 mana.
You gain like
One-
4 mana, right? You're on 7 mana against Zoo the next turn. Insane.
You're just dead. They see you later. The game's over.
Okay, well, we wish that's what it was, but it's not. So it's very situational, maybe Raven Idol. Mark of the
Yes.
Lotus, give your minions +1/+1. This is like,
Really
basically, any deck that plays Power of the Wild wants to use the +1/+1 effect. The fact that you get to play it for 1 less mana is just insane. Like, it means Violet Teacher gets to fit in another Living Roots or another Wrath on a different
The
turn.
problem with this card is that how good Shaman is right now. Top the portals. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're saying like Token Druid, people shifted away from Token Druid because of how strong Shaman is, right, with Maelstorms and stuff.
We'll see. Like if Shaman wasn't so broken, Token Druid would be really strong post expansion. But
Sure.
Portal is such a like hard to deal with. It's like spell power Portal and you both clear and you just like your one reload is gone.
Well, the thing is, this might be played in just any kind of mixture of Beast or Zooey kind of Druid. It doesn't have to be Token.
Yeah, it's the card is powerful for sure because it's 1 mana instead of 2 mana. It's like you fit into like so many turns where you can just like Lotus get out of range of like more AOE. And
I mean, it serves the purpose that they designed very well, right? They designed this because they want Druid to take a more aggressive stance with Beast Druid or some kind of aggro Druid variants and mix it up for Druid a little bit. They don't have to always rely on Wild Growth. They'll always rely on Innovate. But this buffs all of those archetypes, basically. That's how strong the card is, right?
Maybe,
1 mana
maybe
plus
he
1
actually
plus 1.
beats Druid now because if you're playing Token Druid, you could fit like multiple marks or multiple Mark of the Lotus into one turn that your minions become like 3/3s instead of 2/2, and that's a massive deal, right? Because Storm doesn't clear it, and then although they actually need the spell power to clear it, spell power plus Storm to clear it. Maybe it does push like the Token Druid over the top of Shaman because of how powerful you have like multiple marks or multiple like Power of the Wild turns with Teacher. Yeah, but let's see it being good.
Basically, it buffs the archetypes, but because of the meta we're in and how much AoE we see, and the fact that Priest is getting more AoE as well, like, it doesn't make it strong enough. Maybe. People will definitely play around with this card.
Priest
because
is
it's so
also
good.
like, Priest is also pretty annoying, right? With like, evil and stuff as well. So I don't know. It's like going white on the board with like token might not be like a strategy you should approach because how strong the AoE are in the comic.
Yeah.
Right.
Next card, Lunar Visions, draw 2 cards, minions drawn cost 2 less. Alright, let's skip this one, right? What, do you have anything to say? It's just bad.
No, it's bad. It's a 5 mana arcane intellect and there's no cost reduction the time you play it, right? The initial cost is too much for you to make up with like minions.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, cost of the card is too high, and if you draw 1 minion, you basically played Arcane Intellect.
You just play arcane intellect and then what? You get like a 4 mana Emperor. Alex is good, but you're probably too far behind on board when you play this card.
Yeah, plus it costs 5 mana to play. Just the initial cost is bad as well. Yeah, okay. And plus if you draw cards, you generally want spells because you're behind on tempo. And anyway, the card overall we just don't want to see. Yeah. Hunter got Piranha Launcher. Whenever your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 Piranha. They're beasts, right?
It's bad.
Yeah, they're little beasts.
The weapon itself, like 2/4, is just so terrible. The damage, how it lines up against stuff, and then It's 5 mana as well.
Right. Let's not. That card's bad. Yeah, sure. Okay. So Manic Soulcaster, choose a friendly minion, shuffle a copy into your deck.
So yesterday I was having a talk with actively. You said you can go infinite with this. Just never mill it out of your deck. It looks cool enough, but no, just no.
So you do like a brand with Manic Soulcaster.
Yeah. You literally never mill out, right? You can go Cold Light, Oracle, Brand, Manic Soulcaster, have infinite mana, and use mill it open. If that's the card that gives you infinite mana one turn, sure. But you know.
Okay. Well, aside from that unlikely scenario, Manic Soulcaster can put in additional cards in Tempo Mage, more Mana Worms, more 3/2s. But overall, Tempo Mage is... Yeah.
You just Manic Soulcaster itself to avoid milling out, that's all. Otherwise, it's like not many things.
Like, I would probably play this in Reno Mage, but not much more.
Shuffle another Antonitis and shit like
Yeah,
that.
shuffle an Antonitis, shuffle a Reno Jackson, you know, but in Tempo Mage it doesn't see much play. But
it's not putting in your hand, right? It's in your bag as well.
Right. It doesn't really generate any advantage, except for in the fatigue game, but Mage rarely ever wins a fatigue game or actually wants to play it, so let's move on. Small time recruits, draw 3 1-cost minions from your deck. In some scenarios it can be better than Divine Favor, but most of the time you just want to play Divine Favor if you have a bunch of 1-cost minions in your deck, because that's how you build advantage.
Exactly. So, like the card looks powerful, but the problem is that Divine Favor is good, right? That is like if you're playing an aggressive deck that like all 1-cost, you just want the Divine Favor to draw a bunch of cards. But in aggro matchup, Divine Favor is a bad card, right? So maybe this like comes in if there's a lot of aggro deck in the meta game. It's uses the refill.
If this
isn't
isn't...
having to rely.
No.
You don't have to rely on your opponent being like a control deck or mid-range deck, so that your hand, you can always play and draw 3.
If you use 3 mana to draw 3 1-cost spells or 1-cost minions, you're losing so much tempo. You're not developing with that. So in the aggro matchup, like, it's not good, right?
No. You don't play on turn 3. You play on like turn 5 or 6 where you're already like jam, get a hit on board, keep jamming, and then you have ways to deal with some of your minions or AoE you, and then you refill with a small time recruit. That makes sense.
I understand when you want to play it later on, but it's still a waste of mana. Like, you're losing...
It depends on how many good 1-drops there are. Like, it works with, like, if there's a lot of good 1-drops out there, and you can play a deck with, like, a lot of good 1-drops, I could see it working, but the power level of the 1-drops aren't very strong right now, so, I don't know, it's not that good.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Divine Favor. That card is just broken. Tic Tac HS, thank you for the sub, man. Oh shit.
It is 3 mana draw 3.
Thank you for
That's
this
pretty
sub.
broken. I don't know. 3 mana draw 3 is pretty broken.
But you're just drawing more 1-drops. I mean, it thins out
The
1-drops from your
is
deck.
powerful. Yeah, if the 1-drops are powerful, it's good.
It does thin the deck a little bit. So if you're looking to play and draw into your challenger turn or something, in Secret Paladin or whatever, but it's not going to replace Divine Favor. I don't think you have the room to fit small time recruits in your deck most of the time.
Why does it have to be minions though? If it's just drawing 3 1-cost cards from your deck, I think it would be quite good because you could draw like about double humility and stuff. You know?
Oh.
But it's only minions. So,
yeah. If you could draw spells as well in your control paladin.
Yeah, you just draw like double humility and maybe like a 1, redemption or something.
So we're not playing this card, but the next card is Wicker Flame Burn Bristle, Taunt, Divine Shield, damaged out by this minion, also heals your hero.
Nice card, move on.
So realistically, it'll deal 4 damage because they have to attack it twice, and it heals for 4. So
it looks cool if it's like not taunt, instead it's like Divine Shield Stealth, and then it goes to like Blessing of King.
Like, the problem with a card like this is early on, you don't need to heal the 4. They haven't beat you down that badly yet, right? And the card itself, like, it softens up the board for Consecrate and things like that. So if I'm playing Control Paladin, I have this on curve, it's not bad. It's fairly flexible. Oh shit, the cops. Hi, Documaker. Hi, Documaker. Like, the way it's statted, it doesn't challenge the board enough, right? it forces you to have consecration to make this card good. Like this into
I don't know, I just look at this card, I'm like, okay, cool legendary, let's move on. There's a lot of bad legendaries, and there's another bad legendary.
Like if you say it's heal 4, deal 4, I don't
You have
know.
to attack with this card, or like get damage or something. It's not that good when you have to attack with it first.
Right.
It's like game 4 or something. Battle Cry and then like Divine Shoot on.
I mean, this is like every priest's wet dream. Like I just want to Cabal Shadow Priest this guy. But
I don't know. You need this guy. I wouldn't even Cabal Shadow Priest this guy.
you wouldn't even Cabal Shadow Priest this guy? It's that bad? Then he must
This
be
guy is
bad.
that bad. He is bad, dude. I don't know. It's pretty bad, dude. I don't think.
You're saying, yeah, Annoyotron was good. Like, yeah. Like, Tic Tac brings up a good point. Like, we really underestimated Annoyotron as well.
It's 2 mana though. That's like so easy to fit in. And Noitron is like good in aggro decks because you have Mag Warper, so it's a 1 mana card that lets you not kill Mag Warper and then Snowball, right?
Right, and the healing effect doesn't really allow it to be good in aggressive decks as well. Bad card
Like,
design.
aggressive deck, the stat is too bad. You don't really need Divine Shield on and Q2, right? You want like 3-4 or something.
Right.
Kill it.
Well,
Yeah. I don't think so.
okay. I was really hoping that this card would be good, but the more I think about it, the more it's not. Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
Getaway Kodo, when a friendly minion dies, return it to your hand. Oh, that's advantage.
It's
For
pretty
1 mana.
powerful. I think it's better than Redemption in some decks. Because you can use it on Battle Cry minion, and you can get a Battle Cry minion back. It's pretty powerful, right? Like, if you use it on an Aldor turn, and they kill the Aldor, all of a sudden you have an extra Aldor, right?
Does it fit in Secret Paladin? I feel like when you play this card in Secret Paladin, you just get a 2-1
I don't
back.
think it fits in Secret Paladin. No.
You just get the Noble Sacrifice guy back every time, right?
Yeah, and it's like pretty weak early on. You don't even want to use it on like
If-
heavy minions. You want to use it on like big minions.
Right. If somehow you can bring back the 6/6 every time and play Challenger again, but that's just not happening, right? People can play around this card pretty easily. Like,
And the problem is that when you're only playing 1 secret in your deck, everyone knows it's that secret, and all of a sudden they know how to play around it, right? So
right.
it's like probably not gonna see play. To be honest, it's too hard unless there's new hard cards.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in a Control Paladin deck. It's just so low impact. You have to combo this with a card that you want to pick up value on, and then they have to kill the card instead of going face and ignoring your secret. It's easy to play
like,
around. Doesn't...
if they know it's Getaway Kodo in your deck, it's not gonna kill your minion. It's gonna go face.
They're gonna wait until you hero power. It also
know,
means you
right?
can't hero power for the rest of the game, so good luck with that. Mean Street Marshal,
Yeah.
if this minion has 2 more attack, draw a card.
It fits with the early card, like a small time recruit.
Yeah, fits with that. Actually, I really think Secret Paladin or Aggro Paladin, whatever it is, their only advantage, that whole class's advantage over, or archetype's advantage over Zoo or Shaman or anything like that, is that it has resilient minions. It has things like Secret Keeper with a 1-cost secrets that can really buff it. It has like Arcane Anomaly in some situations where the secrets really buff that up big. Or it's like Dragon Egg, you can make use of that. Or it has like Argent Squire that you can combo with Rallying Blade. Like all of these 1-drops already fit the archetype really well, and they're resilient. Like Mean Street Marshal isn't resilient, it works on card advantage after buffing it. Like, it needs
I
to
don't
meet
know,
a
man.
condition
The
as
Mean Street
well.
Marshal, why does it have to be Death Rattle? Why can't it be like end of turn if this minion has 2 or more attack draw cards? That would be really good, right? It's like Death
Yeah,
Rattle. You have to trade with it. Why?
Well, even then you have to buff it, and it's not resilient on its own. It doesn't fit into the aggressive archetypes
At least
that
it's more
Paladin
powerful.
wants.
Right now it's like so bad. Like you have to play this card, have it not die, make it 3 power, and then
And you
trade with
have to
something.
invest in it, right? Like maybe you have to invest in it the turn up. It didn't even attack yet, and you buffed it so you could get an extra draw. Is that good? Like
No.
you played
Like,
this
if you
card
play-
in Divine Strength, but what if they remove it the next turn? You just invested
If
2
it's like-
cards to draw
If it's
1.
like end of turn, this minion has 2 or more attack. I can see it being good because you can play it on turn 3 with like a Lance Carrier, or like turn 5 with like a, the Keeper Ottoman or something, and then have it be like instantly 3/3 to draw a card, and they have to deal with 3/3 to draw the card and stuff. But right now, I don't think it's very good. What the hell? Let's click on the Mean Street Marshal.
Yeah. Overall, I'm not too happy with it. I wish they played or they designed more resilient one drops for Paladin. So that's what Paladin needed anyway. The 2/1 Selfless Hero, right? It has such a great effect, but if it can't even be played on turn one, it needs to be played later on. So it's like
Yeah. And then even then they get to dictate the trait, right? So
right, right.
like they usually can heal your minion, put your minion to like enough health that everything dies together to an AoE that the selfless whatever doesn't even do anything.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the broken priest cards. Cabal
Bro.
Talon Priest. You remember this card called Dark Cultist that was insanely good in Priest before it got rotated out?
Pretty good card.
Pretty good card. It was a death rattle though, so they could kind of play around it and then take a chance that it hits a bad target, or they can
just
kill
like
all the minions and then kill it, right?
Yeah, this card, I don't know. This card is kind of stupid.
It's it's good and bad because if you don't hit the curve, you'd rather have the death rattle on the cultist. But it can also dictate such great tempo and value traits if you have your turn 2 play and they can't kill it.
I mean,
Like,
how strong priest early game though? They don't really have like powerful turn one. So this
right,
card is
right.
like kind of balanced in that sense, but it's really powerful in like the mid game, right? Where priest can get a bot to stick, and then the other deck cannot like just clear the minion and then play their own minion. They have to like, okay, I have to play into your minion, then kind of like let the trades happen, and all of a sudden you just go cabal, bam, take value trade, and all of a sudden they're really far behind.
Yeah. I mean, the Talon Priest is, if it's not good on 3, it's still good on other turns. Like, this card is never really that bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the immediate effect of the trade makes it better in Cultist in a lot of situations. And I think overall, like, you're going to see it in a dragon-based priest deck, so that you're going to have the 2/3 on turn 1, the 2/4 on turn 2, and even if you have to play this on turn 4 or something, and you play a different 3-drop, like, the +3 health is just insanely good.
Yeah,
I think
it's quite good.
it thrives
I think
more
it's okay.
than
I
Dark
think it's
Cultist.
good. I don't think it's broken. I think the card is good, like solid. Like, solid card in like 3/4 for free. You can play it on curve. You can play it later on. Not a bad card. Not amazing. It's like a less good SI agent. On.
Hmm. I like the stat line. I like its effect. I think if Blizzard could have tried to print, like, this is probably one of the best 3-drops they could have printed for Priest already, and it doesn't require a dragon or anything. There's no like bullshit conditions, and it fits the meta. Like, you want to have it as a battle cry. I think Cultist back then was so strong, but now in a more tempo-oriented meta, like, the battle cry is even better than
I don't
Cultist
even
in my
think
opinion.
Cultist is that good in this meta. Like, you play against Shaman, you Cultist, you come down, you already have like 7 power on board or something by turn 3. With the claw and like
I'm very
yeah.
I'm very optimistic for Priest-seeing this card though. This is a very, very strong 3-drop.
Yeah.
Potion of Madness. Gain control of an enemy minion with 2 or less attack until end of turn.
Down Purify card. Really down Purify card, but whatever.
Yeah, how do you use this card? Because you have to combo so many things, because it's not Shadow Madness, right? The minion that you take doesn't gain charge.
Yeah,
it just sits there.
Yeah, yeah, it sits there and do anything.
So you need to use
basically have
this.
to play it and then silence it. And if you're like using 2 cards, just silencing, you're like using 2 cards for like 3 mana to steal like a 2 power minion. How powerful is that 2 power minion? And you silence it, so like if you're stealing something like a knife juggler or whatever, like the powerful effect of the card is really gone, right? So you're spending 2 cards to steal 1 card, and the powerful effect you nullify it itself. So like, what's the point?
I mean, honestly, I think some of these cards are kind of just capitalizing.
It's like the other card we see, right? It's like, oh, wow, Purify Priest is going to be so good, but it's kind of goes to this card locker.
Let me look at Shadow Madness. People are trying to tell me that it gains charge.
Yeah, it does. Let me get a battery real quick.
Does it? Gain control of an enemy minion 3 or less attack until end of turn. It gains the charge? Are you serious? Well, okay. I assume that Shadow Mana said it doesn't. Okay. Okay. Well, if the text reads like this, it doesn't explicitly say that it gains charge. Gain control of an attack until end of turn. And we assume Potion of Madness works the same way. Is it good?
Wait, does it say wait, Shadow Madness is 3 power.
Yeah, the Shadow Madness doesn't say that it gains charge either.
Wait, it's 1 mana to instantly steal something?
Well, how are we supposed to know that it gains charge, right? Like Shadow, it's just implied that it does. It's implied that it does because it has the same text as Shadow Madness.
Broken, right? Oh my god. So 1 mana killing 2. That's broken, right? So aggro decks can't even play anymore. Broken, right? Like if you play like an aggro deck against priest, it's go 1 mana, deal like kill 2 of your minions. That's broken as hell, right?
It doesn't gain charge, they just can attack because it has been on the board. Okay.
Oh my god, that's broken.
Okay,
that's
so
actually broken.
Okay, so let's rework how sorry, I haven't played priest in a while. Alright, so
I don't ever play
assume
priest.
these small things. Okay, so gain control to attack until end of turn. And it can attack.
This card is so stupid.
And it can attack.
What? Like, it's so stupid. So aggro just like go about their day, play turn 1 drop, play turn 2 drop, then priest is like, instead of hero powering, I'm just gonna play this like off curve, 1 mana, kill 2 your minions. See you later.
1 mana, kill 2 your minions. Yeah.
Bye bye.
And it's such a low card. It's such a low cost for the effect. It's 1 mana. You can use the rest of your mana to tempo out.
It's literally so broken. Like 1 mana, kill 2 minions. Like what? No, it's too broken. No.
And then someone else says you don't get charged from mind control. Yeah, what the fuck? You don't get charged. You don't get charged from mana. Yeah, you don't get charged from mind control, right? And the implication is that it was played on your opponent's turn. If you gain control of it, shouldn't it be able to attack? Is there some wording on mind control?
I don't know, man. Hearthstone contact interaction are like not very clear.
Take control of an enemy minion. What does this one say? Gain control of an enemy minion until end of turn. Ah, not like this, dude. So if mind control was a new card, right? And you looked at Shadow Madness, you were like, okay, it gains charge. And then you looked at Potion of Madness, you're like, it gains charge. Then shouldn't mind control gain charge?
I don't know.
Mind control doesn't say until end of turn, but that's not the wording that means that it take over gain, take control, gain control. So is the wording difference between gain and take that implies that it can attack?
What? How? That doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But well, listen, if they want to make this competitive game, they need to like clarify the rules a lot more.
This is just one of the. I can't even begin to like imagine like
they
new players.
Tell you how
right?
like battle rack interaction works, and 2 players have to figure out themselves.
Right.
How the stack works, like first in first out, whatever.
Gain isn't take. Gain isn't take. Well, why does gain and take imply 2 different things? Like a new player playing this will like try to mind control like a Sylvanas to ram into something else to steal it. Turns out it doesn't attack, right? And then he's just fucking confused. Like, what, did I do something wrong?
Alright, dude. Chad's like not like this. That's the wording conspiracy.
Okay.
Alright, this card's broken, right? It's like
okay.
It's gonna warp format. Like you play against control priest, they're gonna be like really strong, and then you're like, I'm designing aggro deck. I can't play 2 power minions anymore. Feels good. Not really. It's bad.
Well, this card's just fucking broken. I think at least a 1-of just to ward off like other aggro decks because for 1 mana, it's such good utility.
Like even control deck has 2 power minions. You can just like randomly steal it, kill their minion off for free, and then the big minions weaken, and the weak minions.
Okay. Let's not spend too much time on this one though. We think it's good. Let's move on before we like unravel all the other inconsistencies in Hearthstone. Right. Draconic Operative, Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, discover a card in your opponent's deck. You get 3 choices from your opponent's deck. Overall, it's always good, because if you're playing against an aggro deck, you can take small, cheap things to help you curve out. If you're playing against a control deck, you can pick up a removal or one of their big threats. Very little downside to this card, except for you invest a turn on turn 5 to play a 5/6 that doesn't really impact the board state. So can you afford to play this instead of playing Blackwing Corruptor?
I mean, it's a 5/6 for 5. The cycle. and it's dragon itself. Obviously, it's like good, right?
Well, can you play this over Azure Drake? I think so.
Yes, definitely. In the priest deck especially, because
Yeah.
Azure deck isn't very good in priest, right? 'Cause,
The stat line's kind of bad. Azure Drake stat line's kind of bad. Yeah, I would play this over Azure Drake. Just another strong buff card, and its resources. Yeah, okay, fair enough. This card's pretty strong. I heard someone say it's better than Azure Drake. Yeah, it's. I would replace Azure Drake and still play Blackwing Corruptor because Corruptor's just a fucking insane card. You just have to play it, right?
It's a good card, dude. This is a good card.
Yeah, this card is also
and
great.
It's discovered.
Power level's
So
just good.
just draw a card.
Yeah,
It's like
the fact that it's Discover, you take whatever you want for
you
this.
can actually get the pick, right? Let's say you're playing control deck, you look at the cards, like remove spell, bomb. You just take the bomb, and all of a sudden they have to deal with bomb from their deck. It's pretty hard for them to deal with.
Oh, someone else made a good point. You also learn what type of cards are left in the deck. So you see that there's an Execute in this deck, that means there's a low chance that it has the other one. So you could also change your lines. Yeah, it's also
so it
it's information,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, it's free information. That's really good, yeah.
Draconic Operative is just... Smart players will use this card very well. And even not so smart players will probably be able to ride a victory off of this card. Like, it's just good.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, Dragonfire Potion, deal 5 damage to all minions except dragons. Wow.
Broken, yes.
Wow.
Very broken removal spell, like AoE.
Your dragon deck just has, like... Basically, removal and Hearthstone always suffered from the fact that there might be some downside, right? Like, Flame Strikes, 7 mana, pretty good but easy to play around. Dragonfire Potion, 6 mana, deal 5 damage. Not very easy to play around at all.
It's 5. Like, 5 clears everything.
Right, and there's no real downside because all your minions are dragons to begin with.
Exactly.
This Dragonfire Potion...
It's even really good against like something like Rogue as well. Like, how is Rogue going to beat? Like, they have Azure Drake to place around this, but everything else is dies. You go auction and conceal, just dead, you know? I don't know. Card's really good.
Yeah. The only thing you can really think about is like you play maybe 1, maybe you don't play 2 if there's a lot of priests because then you have Dragon Mirrors and does nothing. But the overall power level is just so strong.
Like only Azure Drake in the format doesn't really die to it, right? I guess if other people are playing Dragon decks, I could see this not being good the first 2 or 3 weeks. But once the meta game is settled and people find that the other Dragon decks that are not Dragon Priests are all terrible decks, and there's no more Dragon decks, then this card's gonna be broken, right? Unless other people are playing Dragon Priest, then it's a dead card.
Yeah.
Maybe you tag as one-off. One-off's still really strong, right?
Right, and it's enough to like really destroy Rogue as well. It's just like Blizzard said they removed Light Bomb, but then they gave us this. Like, just have Light Bomb back in the meta, basically. It's really, really strong. And even if you don't play dragons in your control priest deck, you might just still play this.
Like, Light Bomb you can actually play around, because you can play around this card if you're ahead enough on board, but against Dragon Priest, you can't really just sit back and not overextend, right? You actually have to get on board, because if you don't get on board, you're going to get wrecked by like Dragon Knight Operators and stuff and just jam the board and you just start losing. Right. You actually have to fight for the board. So you actually overextend Dragonfire Potion. So, I don't know, card seems really strong. Because Dragon Priest is a proactive deck.
You're very afraid that like the meta is going to be all dragon decks, and then people start playing more and more dragon decks because they want to play around Dragonfire Potion.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like the new Shaman meta. Everyone plays dragon decks to play around this, and then you rage that your Dragonfire Potion never gets value.
Exactly, and then you start attacking no Dragonfire Potion, and the other decks become good again. They're like, oh, no Dragonfire Potion, let's play other decks again. And then some idiot is gonna like, okay, I'm just gonna play Dragonfire Potion again. You're like, oh, I'm sad.
Yeah, this card is so strong, it'll definitely dictate like archetypes in the meta. So,
yeah.
Thanks, Blizzard.
Like, and Potion and meta as well, right? Like, Priestess like warps the format right now so much. And are we gonna move on to the next one? Same rant about the next one.
So next card is Pint-Sized Potion. Give all enemy minions -3 attack this turn only.
Like this card is also super broken for 1 mana, right? Because if you're even on board, you get to play this card and just take value trade all day. And then this card is like a one-sided AoE with Shadowwood Horror to clear the board as well, right?
I mean, I don't think you it's like Shadowed Horde and Pint Size is good, but we're playing in a meta where a lot of people like building priest decks don't even want to run Akanai Circle, right? And Akanai Circle's arguably better than this.
No, Pint-sized potion is one-sided AoE, man. Akanai
One-sided
Circle is
AoE.
like 4 mana, clears 4 power minion, like 4 health minion, and then leaves a 3-1 on board that just dies anyways. So this card is way better than that combo. And this card has like more flexibility than that circle combo as well. Because circle you really want to use card draw and stuff. You can't really just use it on Akanai.
Well, you also have Potion of Madness. Like, either way, your priest decks have a lot of powerful, strong AoE options now, basically. And if your priest deck is a Dragon Priest and has all these minions, Pint-Sized Potion also works.
Yeah, like what? You can play this card, and then all of a sudden you Cabal, you sorry, not Shadow Cabal, go, what is it, the 6 mana 4/5 is still 2 power minion.
Mm-hmm.
Cabal Shadow Priest, you can play this card, and all of a sudden your Cabal Shadow Priest is like good in the aggro matchup, you can play as 4/5 and steal something, and in control matchup, you play something, it's Inside Potion and Shadow Wood Priesthood.
Right.
Still,
So
like,
you build a Dragon Priest deck, this is good for trading. You build your Control Priest, you run 2 of these, you run 2 Horrors, you run 2 Cabals. Like,
yeah,
GG.
like it's good against aggro and control. Like it's just a control priest that's like good against everything. Like what? It's so broken. Like it's gonna be like priest mirror like every day. Like why would you make this format?
Basically, Priest has a lot of great tools now.
I actually hate priest, dude. I don't play priest. I love beating priest, dude. I'm playing rogue every day. I'm like, okay, priest, free win, feels good. Now it's gonna be like, oh, I'm losing rogue against priest now. So great, dude.
I mean, you can seal your minions, and then there's like Pint-Sized Potion, Shadow Word Horror,
Oh, Shadow Word
or
Horror.
Dragonfire Potion, all your
So
minions
bad.
are dead.
Oh my god.
And then you're like, well, I can make an 8/8 Van Cleef and play around it. Shadow Word Death. Like,
Yeah, I mean, okay, maybe rogue is still fine against priest because you can actually play around the AoE pretty well by like not overextending.
mhm.
Because the AoE usually you don't play into the AoE that much anyways. Right? You can just like you just have 2 minions on the board to put on pressure, and then get enough mana until you go off your auction and draw a billion cards, and you just never run out of cards and out attrition them. I think rogue is still gonna be like quite good against control priest, but the problem is like dragon priest. You know, dragon priest curve out like an idiot. Just play on curve every single turn. Play giant ass minion every turn, and then if you
Honestly-
try to fight for the board, they just Dragonfire Potion you. Like what? That's so dumb. One-sided AoE is not.
Honestly, I hope that these 5 are the strongest priest cards that are gonna come out, and the rest are slightly weaker.
Trash.
If
Like,
all the
don't
other
play
priest cards are this strong, then welcome to Priest Stone. Fuckboy Anduin's gonna rule overall. Like, like if every priest card
Do you
there
see
is
the
is
priest
strong.
portrait? You seen the priest portrait? Him with the gay haircut and the like not very cool haircut, or whatever. I hate that guy, dude. Anduin? Yeah, I hate Anduin. That guy's disgusting. Whatever, dude. So
I actually
alright,
hope some
I
of the
hate
cards are
priest.
weaker, but we'll see. Alright, so
I hate priest.
next one is the rogue class. Alright, so Lotus Assassin. Whenever this minion kills an enemy, gains stealth. It's a value rogue card with stealth.
Alright, I already told you this, right? The only problem I have with this card is that does it kill when you kill your opponent with like character with this card? Does it gain stealth before they blow up, or does it not gain stealth before it blow up?
Whenever this minion kills an enemy, gains stealth. An enemy, your opponent is also an enemy, yes?
So if you kill
So-
someone with this card and then they get stealth and then they blow up, that's literally the only good thing about this card. Otherwise, it's nothing. Like there's no
It's
reason to
really
do it.
good for BMing the opponent, right?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all. It is.
Lotus kills him and goes back to... Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it just doesn't fit with Rogue too much.
No, it's like even if you take value trade with it, it gains stealth. But the thing is, when you have a 5 power minion and trade with other minion, they usually it's vulnerable to AoE anyways. So it's probably still gonna die. Right?
Well, it's a very good arena card. This card in arena is insane. Just
it's
saying.
good.
Like, it kills the 4-drop, right? And then it lives and it kills a 5-drop. In
Yeah,
arena, Lotus Assassin just like puts Rogue off the charts, but we're not here to play arena, alright? It's also a good BM card for arena. Anyway,
It's only good for BM because I don't know. This card seems pretty good.
it's a really, really strong arena card. That's it. That's all I have to say. It doesn't fit into any of the competitive Rogue archetypes we can see now.
Yeah.
Like Lotus aside, yeah. Counterfeit coin, gain 1 mana crystal this turn only.
I actually got spoiled at this by the devs when I was at APAC, and I've been thinking about this card. I have a lot to say about this card. It's like the way you build this card is like you want to build an all-in combo deck, right?
Yeah.
Which brings us to the point that the current best card in Rogue is actually Twin Pillager, and the way you want to bring Rogue, like build Rogue right now, because the lack of like play fury, is that when you're playing a combo Rogue deck, in the past, let's say the old Miracle Rogue, you have like 2 mana Flurry to come back, you have like a lot more cheaper like kill mechanical like 4 mana Leroy and 5 mana Auction and stuff.
Sure.
Like if you put card like this in your deck, it means that you have to play an all-in combo Rogue deck, right? You can't play like, you know, a mid-rangey style, which is like current Rogue deck is like not even pure combo. It's like half combo, half mid-range, half tempo, right? It's like not half tempo. It's like half mid-range, half like you want to curve out and stay relative even on board going into your auction turn. Because you're too far behind on your auction turn, you probably already lost because you don't have a strong combat mechanics, right? So the problem with this card is that I don't think there's enough like spell in the game at the moment to play this card. That's the problem. What do you think?
Okay, so I want to address this in just like a very general manner. Like, if you have counterfeit coin while you're going first, right, in your mulligan, you don't really want to keep it unless you have like an Edwin in the hand. Because if you're going first, you're already lower on resources. Keeping Innervate is... like, Druid might keep Innervate going first, right? But that's 2 mana. Counterfeit Rogue, 1 mana, and you get 1 less draw. It's not good to go. Going first, you don't ever keep Counterfeit Coin. Unless you have Edwin. That's something else. Going second, you already have the coin. So you don't need the counterfeit coin. You probably mulligan the coin going second as well. So its only use is later on. And when you top deck it, the best synergies to draw this card later on is with Auctioneer, right? But it's also adding more inconsistency to the deck. So to make your Auctioneer and your counterfeit coin come together, like you're right, you have to play this super combo-oriented deck. But if you're all in on the combo-oriented deck, then you're playing a lot more card drop because counterfeit coin makes your deck a little more inconsistent. You want to make sure you reach that win condition, right?
The card drop have to be spells though, because you don't want to play Novus. Because your turn 2 is always going to be dagger a lot of the time as Rogue.
I think you run all of it. You run Sinister Strikes, you run Cold Bloods to cycle with your Auctioneer, you run just everything damage you can get. You run Double Conceal, and you run all the novices, all the fan, maybe one fan.
I think that deck's very bad.
And 2
the problem
ships.
is that when you're playing like Novus on turn 2, like the strongest part about Rogue is the turn 2 dagger. I feel like if you're not developing a turn 2 dagger, you're doing something very wrong with Rogue. So like you playing this card, I think you have to like I don't know if there's going to be not more Rogue cards playable. Hopefully they make like 1 or 2 mana spell for Rogue that's actually playable, so you can actually play this deck that's like counterfeit coin, Auctioneer, Twin Pillager Drake, 0 to 2 SI, 0 to 2 questing, and then like maybe even Giant, like Arcane Giant with all the spells, so you can go really early Auctioneer, clear the board, play your Giants, win the game, you know? Like early Auctioneer consume into cycle a bunch, drop Giant, win the game. That's how you should be playing this time.
Yeah, so you can play the Giants version, and that's your win condition. You can seal the Giants with Auctioneer. Or you can go all in on like just the whole burn plan, right?
Yeah. I don't think the burn plan works because how good the like Pharaoh Rage is in performance. Like, you're just not gonna have the damage.
Yeah, it does have to be very, very, very all in though.
Yeah, and then you just all in on drawing Auctioneer in those decks too, right? Because if you don't draw Auctioneer by turn 6, you're gonna lose.
Well, that's why you play the double shiv and you add some more card draw as well.
You always play double shiv if you're playing two counterfeit coin.
Yeah, of course.
You're all in.
So overall, it'll make Giants Rogue viable, I think, right?
Yeah,
And
somewhat viable.
What we really have to see is like how consistent you can make that deck. If that deck is consistent and it can bring out Auctioneer a turn earlier as well with the counterfeit coin, right? If it can bring out Auctioneer faster, it can play the Giants. Yeah. it can definitely bring Rogue's power level up because it can also improve the consistency, even though it kind of decreases it. If you supplement it with more card draw and your Giants and your Conceal and this whole win condition is very, very consistent, you always hit double Conceal, you always hit Auctioneer because you're so consistent, it could bring back like Miracle Rogue.
So you have to find like the exact right fit for it because you have to have Auctioneer, you have to have the point, you have to have like enough spell density to either make the Giants good or you add in the questing as like alternate win condition. And the problem is that are the questing good in the format, right? Sometimes the questings aren't good enough in the format because there's enough remove spell for it. Then the deck's probably not going to be that good. So if you cannot play questing, then you have to only win with Giants. Then we have to see whether Blizzard have actually printed like 1 or 2 mana spell to fit into the deck that's actually strong. Let's say they printed something like 1 mana, deal 1 damage, combo, deal 3 damage or something like that. Then, all of a sudden the deck will be broken with more spells in the deck, You know what I mean? Otherwise,
Yeah.
I feel like right now, because of the lack of Blade Fury, you cannot really come back from below position. Like, they just go wide against you and you just lose. Because, like, Spell Power Fan doesn't play a lot of things that you really need something that's, like, super broken for 1 or 2 mana, actually on top of your sap, on top of your straight, to make, like, your deck a lot more consistent in the way you clear minions on your option things.
Yeah, I mean, this is a deck I'll definitely be trying. I'll try and make a Giants Rogue work out pretty well, but
For sure.
I think that's basically the only archetype it fits in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like hyper aggressive or Giants Rogue. Okay.
Yeah. We'll have to see how consistent we can make like turn 5 Auctioneer into like a bunch of spell that's like proactive, clear minions and draw into Giant. That's how we have to do it. Otherwise it's like
Okay, so Shakru the Collector, Rogue Legendary. Stealth for 2/3. Whenever this minion attacks, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class.
nice game. Let's move on. Yeah.
Isn't like Huckster or
It's like the stat is too bad. You get 1 card and then yeah, it's like 2/3 and then they don't have AoE for it on turn 3, right?
I'd much rather play
Attack once.
Burglar or Huckster than this, honestly. It's just bad.
Yeah, it's 3 mana and he has to attack and then I don't know, it's just bad. It just dies and I don't know, bad.
Like, if this was some kind of legendary, like, kind of semi-win condition for your deck, like, if it read Stealth whenever this minion attacks, all this stuff, and then re-Stealth at the end of the turn.
No, that's too broken. No,
Well,
that's too broken.
it's a very heavy value-oriented thing, and you're not always going to get something good. And control decks have AoE to kill it. Like, I think that's reasonable.
Why is it random though? Why can't it just like have like let you discover something? I don't know. It's like too bad for it to be like random. Like the stats is like 2/3 stealth. But when you attack, discover a rogue card or something, a rogue spell or whatever. Add a rogue spell to your hand or discover a rogue spell. I would see the card being like somewhat playable. But it's like, let's do this now. It's pretty bad.
I
You
don't
can
know.
get like Lotus Assassin,
Like,
against
it's
aggro
legendary, it doesn't have a very good win. Okay, let's move on. I don't... The more I think about this card, the angrier I get. Like, it's just so bad on so many levels. Alright. It's not even a death rattle. It doesn't work in Azoth. It's not a battle card, so you don't get it instantly. It's a fucking stealth 3/2 that... Like, come
You
on,
have to
man.
attack too.
Come
So
on.
You have a taunt, if you have a taunt up, you have to run to a taunt just to get your card. Like what?
Yeah, alright. Jesus. Alright, so Warrior has only seen one card. I know a guy. Discover a taunt minion. It's very good for Warrior, right?
The taunt cards. I don't know how good they
Like, the problem is, you have the 3/4 monkey, that's a class card, and you have the 4 mana 2/6 that are class cards that are taunts, right? And because it's a class card, it's more likely to discover those.
Yes.
So if you're always guaranteed like a mid-range option, which is nice, but there's also so many low-cost taunts compared to high-cost taunts that if you're using this card to try and fill in the late game against some of your control matchups, you're not guaranteed to hit like a Bog
Big
Creeper or a Sagoth or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So...
Because it's not that good in Warrior. It's like Warrior doesn't need the spells to do that much, and then no, this card is not very amazing. You just rather play the card. Like if you want to play monkeys, play monkeys. If you play purple plays, play purple plays.
I think it's too risky to rely on this card to find your late game. I know the Discover mechanic can oftentimes do that, but
Yeah, it's
it'll
not good.
brick a good amount because the class cards are all mid-range.
Yeah. It's like not very consistent in what it does. It's like the spell synergy is not amazing because, like, while Pyro decks don't want to play this card because the card you get off it are dead, right? Like, if you're playing Combo Warrior and you get this card, it's like, yeah, it's a nice 1-mana spell, but the pawn you get off it aren't very valuable, right? So, I don't know. I don't think.
Well, we'll see what other synergies there are out there with it right now. Like, Bolster's still in the set, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Cool, dude. Like, it's not
okay.
developing into Tommy. You want to play cheap Tommy into Bolster.
Yeah.
So you're
Not much to say about this card right now. Let's just move on. Grim Street Informant. 2-mana 1/1. Discover a Hunter, Paladin, or Warrior card. So let's go down the line. Will Hunter play this card?
No.
No. Too much loss
It's
of
a neutral
tempo.
card, right? It's
No.
a neutral card,
It's a
right?
it's a tri-class. It's a tri-class.
Oh, tri-class.
These three
So
classes
only
that you
Hunter
see
counts.
can play it.
Okay.
Paladin. Will Paladin play this
No.
card?
No. Pretty sure not.
Will
The
Warrior
problem
play
with
this
this card
card?
is that it's like you facing the control warrior kind of like Jill Scarab in that it's better than Jill Scarab. The problem is that Hunter cards aren't very good controller cards, and then Paladin card is like so random in what you get. You get like garbage ass secret or Tyrion, right? So it's like high variant. And then the warrior card, there's a lot of like bad cards as well that don't do anything. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very good in either of the classes. This
Yeah.
Hunter, you don't really want the warrior and Paladin card. Warrior, you most likely don't want the Hunter card unless it's like, high main or something. Or the Paladin get Tyrion.
Yeah, and people are saying you get offered one of each, of course, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like better than Jill Scarab for sure, but the card powerful is like too random for me to like it.
Zalay says he likes it in Warrior. He thinks it's
It's better than
flexible.
Jill Scarab in control deck for sure. But
Like Hunter will likely give you damage or some kind of sticky death rattle or something, right?
That's a lot of dead cards, dude. I'm like freaking
Hunter's Mark or Bestial
Hunter's Mark is
Wrath,
really powerful.
Bestial Wrath or something.
Bestial Wrath, the Green Street Informant or whatever, like not the
Right,
3/4 that
right.
gives you death rattle in your hand +1/+1. All this nonsense. Stable map.
But the
There's a lot
thing
of bad
is,
cards, man.
it's unlikely that you get 3 bad cards, right? Like,
It's random, so you wouldn't know, right?
are you gonna get 3 bad cards? What are the chances you get like Bestial Wrath, a shitty Paladin secret, and like Bolster?
Pretty easily, I would say. It's not even that hard to get.
I think the percentage of playable cards, it's very unlikely that you get like just screwed by all 3 classes here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just so random. We have to play with it more to see. Like, it's so high RNG that it's probably not going to see that.
Yeah, and I think
Probably
Crane,
only going to go into Control Warrior to see if you can play, but I don't think other classes can play. Paladin?
well, Crane makes a good point. Like, what are the chances at the end of the day? Like, you're playing a 2-mana 1/1 at the end of the day, right? Like, yeah, you're saying Jeweled Scarab,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Jeweled Scarab doesn't see play right now either.
Juice Scarab is really bad because you only get 3 mana cards. The 3 mana cards are all bad, right? But this is actually, you can actually get like really powerful cards. But it's like so random. You can just get like dead removed card that doesn't do anything. Like a bat removed card.
Oh,
Cobra Shaw or something.
Joshi says you choose a class first, then you get 3 cards from that class.
Is that how it works?
Is it?
Is that how it works? I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Then plus you have to click twice. I don't think like
We don't think Hearthstone would make a card where you have to click twice.
exactly.
That's funny. But is it or is it not?
I don't think so. No, everyone's
No,
saying no.
not true. Not true. Alright, am I getting trolled by someone in chat? Maybe. It's one of each, right? Have you
The
seen this
beta
card?
card- It's one of each, pretty sure.
One of each. Okay. Would that be broken if you could choose the Hunter, Paladin, or Warrior card and then discover 3 from the class you chose?
No.
Blizzard confirmed it's one of each. Okay. Yeah,
Alright,
fair
can we
enough.
just move on?
Yeah,
move
let's
on to-
move on. Let's move on. Okay, Lotus Agents. Battlecry, Discover, Richard, Rogue, or
Too
Shaman.
expensive.
Too expensive.
bad.
5/3s are bad, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's gonna want to play 5/3. Jesus. But Ethereal Conjure was a 6/3.
And it doesn't even see why. And it actually gives you a spell too. This is like random. You could get bad minions and stuff.
Yeah. Cabal Courier, Discoverer, Priest, Mage, yeah. Okay, so
I think Cabal Courier is more playable than Lotus and Retreat because Mage, Priest, Warlock card. Because Priest is super broken now with all these broken cards. So maybe it's only worth to play for the Priest card. So this card's the best card in the set. So there we go.
Warlock, Mage.
Best card in the set. Mage is good because Mage is mostly remove spell. Priest is good because of broken cards. And then Warlocks is like pretty random. Warlock's pretty bad a lot of time.
Yeah.
Maybe you get AoE off it. But Priest and Mage is really strong.
Would you
so
play?
many cards like
Would you play this in Mage?
no.
Would you play this in Warlock to try to find a heal in your deck? Probably not, right? You just run a heal card.
You might play in Priest because you can afford to do so. Since your deck is so broken, you can play bad cards in your deck and
Okay. Well, Priest won't play it because Priest already has all the broken cards. Alright.
Cool.
I'm just going to say no on this one as well. Alright, Kazakis, if your deck contains no duplicates, create a custom spell.
So how does this card work? We don't know how this card works. Like, what are the options for 1 mana, what are the options for 5 mana? Because we've seen the option for 10 mana in the intro video, right?
Have you seen
And
all the
super
options?
powerful.
Can someone link all the options for Kazakis?
They haven't shown them.
They haven't shown all the options?
No. It's only the 10 mana in the
It's
video.
just a smaller version of it, right? Like if the 10 mana one is draw 3 cards, the 5 mana one is draw 2 cards, the 1 mana one is draw 1 card or something.
Is that how it works?
Okay, so there's a Reddit thread for this somewhere. Kazakis effects and cards. 1 mana, draw 1 card, draw 2 cards, 3 cards, freeze 1 random enemy, 2 random enemies, 3 random enemies, deal 3 damage, 6 damage, 8 damage. Summon an 8/8 demon, 5/5 demon, and something demon. Give your minions +2/+4. Add a random demon, 2 random demons, 3 random demons. All minions into 1/1 sheeps, and random minions 1/1 sheeps. Gain 4 armor, 7 armor, 10 armor, 6 damage to all minions. Yeah, summon a 1 friend minion that died this game, 2 or 3. Wow.
Wait, can you show me the...
Yeah, dude, it's linked. It's in the chat. It's in the chat.
link it? Is it Evil Flowers? Evil Flowers.
So-
1 mana. Draw 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards.
Is some of this assumed that this is how it goes? I feel like this might, like some of these numbers might be assumptions, but
That's a fact. Other option random? How does the option work?
you get to choose. Right, out
Like,
of 3 options.
There's so many options. Like, I don't get it. How do you...
There's 3 options for one effect, and then the second effect will not include the option that you chose, and it'll give you 3 other effects.
Oh, I see. So 1 mana, draw 1 card. 2 friendly minions, hearthstone. There's a lot of broken stuff though.
What is okay? So for 1 mana, right, you can
Draw
deal.
1 card is really good.
No, you can deal 3 damage to a minion, and then summon a friendly minion that died this game for 1 mana off of Kazakis.
You get 3 damage and summon friendly minion? Wow.
Deal 3
For
damage,
1 mana.
summon a friendly minion that died this game.
So-
Resurrect,
So
deal 3.
don't you always pick the summon 1 friendly minion that died this game? Almost always.
You might need armor. Or if you can, if you have a big board.
That's bonus, right?
Basically,
Yeah, that's bonus.
There's so many good different effects. Like if Kazakis fits well into any like Reno class that can play him.
There's so many. If you want tempo, you can even summon 5/5 demon 5 mana and like draw 2 cards, or 5 mana deal 4 to all minions, summon a 5/5 demon or something. There's so many good options.
So it's not that you can pick all of them. You get 3 effects randomly and then 3 effects randomly, but you can't repeat the effect that you chose. So the random roll, it would be kind of shitty, but you could roll the same 2 ones that you didn't want from before or something like that.
Sure.
But overall, each of these powerful effects are good, and overall, the mana that you pay to do this effect is good as well. It's like insanely good for the mana.
It's like you can do reach with this card, so they're lower life. You can just use like, pick a damage thing to kill them, or you can even just pick like AOE to clear the board. You can, like, if you're low on life against Hunter, for example, you can gain armor. There's so many options with this card. You can even draw a card if you're low on cards. There's so many options. This card is broken.
And people are saying, you keep in mind, like Kazakis can only be played in Priest, or Warlock, or Mage.
Oh, really?
So
So
in
it's Warlock.
it's Reno Lock most of the time. It's Reno
Yeah,
Lock, right?
it's
It's a
Reno
really
Lock.
good buff to Reno Lock. It's a really good buff to Reno Mage as well.
Reno Mage? Is that a deck?
And Reno Mage is a deck. People play Reno Mage. It's a fun deck. But
I remember you try and play Reno Mage for a month or something with the Ronin.
I'm a big fan of Reno Mage. It has potential. It's got Ronin. It's got Nazad. Anyway,
Okay, dude.
like
Right.
Kazakus itself, like
It's like a fine minion to play on card.
it's so much good value. Like
Yeah, might be the best card
maybe
in the set.
maybe Priest won't need to play it, but
If you can get like the AOE, like deal 4 damage to all minions for 5 mana, that's super broken, right? Just the AOE card is super broken, and like summoning demons is pretty broken as well. Or draw cards, there's so many good stuff. Yeah, the card's good.
yeah.
The card's just good.
This card is great. A lot of people are going to try a lot of Reno decks, and if you find a Reno build that's competitive, you're going to bet it has Kazakus in it. It's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Card's like so powerful for what it does. For
Is
what
that
it does.
everything?
Like,
We covered
the
everything
only
already,
problem
did we?
Yeah, that's all.
Really?
Yeah.
We didn't miss anything?
No, is it?
How many cards were released? We have 6, 11,
36?
12, 16, 17, 21, 26, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. It's like 33 cards. That sounds about right?
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
I mean, overall, from the cards we've seen so far, I'm a little disappointed in the tri-class cards
Yeah.
because you could make an effect that kind of works for all 3 classes instead of discovering something random. I feel like discover something random was a pretty big
Like,
cop out.
it'd be really cool, for example, if you make a tri-class card that, like, let's say, 6 mana, 5/5 or something, deal 2 damage, and pick two of the 3 or something, like, deal 2 damage and gain 2 life, and, like, draw a card, something for, like, mage or priest, fits with the theme.
I mean, okay, so the idea is the mage, priest, warlock would have a healing effect or a damage effect, right? Because warlock needs heal, priest has heal, priest might need more damage, and mage doesn't have a whole lot of heal. It could use that. That's
No,
fine.
it's more like priest heals, mage deal damage, warlock, like, let's say draw a card or something like that, right? So the other classes can get access to the healing from priest, and then but warlock can gain damage, like access to the damage, or like priest can get access to the damage.
Or warlock can gain heal or something. Like
Yeah.
they could have definitely designed effects that fit into all 3 of these instead of just giving us more random cards.
Yeah.
Like
This is like arena cards.
this is like a huge cop out on their part, but I understand they're also releasing more of these cards. So hopefully they're not all just discover random things. Hopefully they've incorporated effects that fit into hunter, paladin, warrior, or druid, mage, or rogue or shaman, or things like that, right? Like I expect the next few cards released that are tri-classes to be an effect geared to those 3 classes, beneficial to each, or gives that class something that they didn't have before that the other 2 classes had, or the other class had.
Yes. Yeah. It gives
Like-
gives them something they didn't have, but also fits into the theme of them like dealing damage or like draw cards or whatever.
Right. And I expect to see a lot of those things. So hopefully that's what we have to look forward to when it comes to the tri-class cards. Because if it's just more of this, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah. Like, let's say they make like let's say Lotus Agent, right? They could have made something like, if you combo, you get like deal 2 damage, and then if it's like, and it overloads for 1 and draws a card, or stuff like that. You have to
Right,
make it
right.
more cool like that, but it just made it really weird. This combo.
So overall review, Kazakus is great. These 3 cards that we just saw that are tri-class, kind of disappointing. Don't really think any of them will see play. Warrior, we can't really tell yet. Counterfeit Coin helps the Giants and Gadgetzan Rogue. The other 2 rogue cards are bad. Every card in Priest is broken. The Paladin cards haven't really come together for us. Kind of bad. Manic Soulcaster, Fatigue Mage, question mark. The Hunter card, well, alright then.
Playable.
And the Druid, we like Kuhn the Forgotten King, right? This was the big thing. Like, we think Kuhn is good, but will it see play?
questionable. Honestly.
Depends. It'll probably see playing ramp. Will the Mali decks need it? Maybe not, but its choose one effects are actually very good for the current build of Druid.
Yes.
Mark of Lotus clearly broken for token decks. And the neutral cards, what did we like in neutral?
The second rate bruiser.
Second Ray
Three mana.
Bruiser, yeah, pretty solid. And we like Patches of Pirates, just an overall buff to pirate archetypes. But it isn't strong enough to make other pirate archetypes emerge, such as Pirate Rogue. It only buffs Pirate Warrior a little bit, which is nice.
And Auction Master Beardo, I think.
Auction Master Beardo. This card is a cuck in the end, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's... I think this will be kind of a big letdown. The Fel Orc, more Purify, Silence Synergy, but you know, we'll see when that becomes a deck, right? Finja, not very good with the current Murloc Paladin, but kind of an interesting card. Generally bad.
It could be really good, right? If they print more Murloc Paladin cards. Murloc Paladin.
And we said Big Time Racketeer has some potential with Bram and some potential with Evolve, but overall kind of gimmicky. The Evolve Shaman with this maybe not so gimmicky, but it's still a big milestone to get there. But the thing is, like, I just thought about this. Is Shaman so strong on the curve already? They can afford to play a slow game, right? Like, if you really want to play Racketeer and Evolve, chances are you're playing Shaman, you'll be able to sustain and get to that point. Anyway.
Why would you play it in the Shaman deck, though?
Why would you? Right. Like, you have so many stronger options, but if you wanted to play in Shaman, you probably fucking could, because Shaman's already that strong.
Exactly. I don't know, I'm just gonna go into Disguised Codes videos and not card into this one.
Okay. Well, that's all the cards. Thanks for joining me, Akumaker.